My name is Naджма Лаяли. I'm a SAS graduate. I majored in economics and I originally came from Indonesia to study here in Russia. Actually, why I chose Russia to study, it was pretty random. I didn't look at countries when I started applying for bachelor's degree. I just knew that I really wanted to study abroad, somewhere in another country, to just be in a new kind of environment. And so I didn't really look at countries. I looked more at programs that I was interested in, and I came across SAS and really liked this new style and this kind of unique institution at a random city in the middle of Russia. So for me, it wasn't so much the country, but more so because of the program. And so this is why I chose Russia. Why I chose SAS, because it gave this opportunity for students to be able to have 2 years in the beginning to kind of learn something general, and not focused on a specific major. And I had a lot of interest. I didn't understand whether I wanted to do this or that or this or that. And so for me, it was a really big opportunity to figure out what I wanted to do. And from my understanding, this kind of program, this kind of 2+2 program didn't exist in Russia or even in my country in Indonesia. So I thought this was super cool, this was super amazing, something super new, and it was super interesting. What is SAS to me? It's, something super unique. So previously we were talking in a reading, we had a reading group with Siavish and Devin, our professors. We were talking about what university is, what education is, like what does it mean for us? Why do we go there? And we were talking and agreeing with each other that education is this place where you can just go to so that your real life can kind of stop, and you can just go to this place where you enjoy, to study what you enjoy, to gain knowledge, and kind of, I don't want to say run away, but in a sense run away from real life. And I think this is what SAS was to me, a place where real life kind of stopped, because I could just have fun, be with my friends, do what I love, or continue to gain knowledge in the things that I really am interested in. I don't know, maybe this is kind of my fate, my destiny to keep doing experiments, because I come to SAS, an experimental institution. But I was met with a course in my second year, I think, which is called Experimental Pedagogics, with Jeannie, who is professor from the Netherlands. And we basically learned different ways to teach, not only to teach, but different methods that different educational institutions used. And this was super fun. We created our own experiment, which helped us create our own course for excellence track, which we also did. And so this was my first kind of introduction to experiments for myself, like application of it. But also, which helped me so much in my diploma itself, was the course Experimental Economics taught by Alexander Usvitsky. And this was super fun. I think this was the first time I really was like, wow, I love economics. I really enjoy it. It's not something that's a burden. And so because of this course, I think it really helped, just me grow my love for economics, but also for my thesis. And I was super grateful to be helped by my supervisor, Tatiana, who works in HSC. So I was able to work with her, and we have now great cooperation, and we're able to continue our experiment as well. My diploma was something not super related to traditional economics. Usually when people hear about it, they're like, how is it related to economics? But I chose to go down the path of experimental economics, down this field of experimental economics, where we utilize experiments to be able to test out people's behaviors, people's decision making. And here I specifically looked at trust, this pro-social behavior of trust. And what I tried to figure out was this transmission of trust from parents to children, and whether this exists or whether parents are even willing to transmit their trust to their child. And so, something along the lines of this. It was super fun, I think, also, and I really enjoyed creating the experiment itself for people to come and participate in. Well, that's hard. Education for me is, I guess, the process where I'm able to learn different things. I think if I go to university, it's not that I intend to learn one thing and keep going and focus on that thing, but I think for me it's always figuring out and learning something new. That's why I think coming to SAS was super important for me, because I knew that I needed different things to open up my viewpoint, to kind of, for me to understand all these different interests. And of course, down the road, it's important to focus on different things, but at the same time, for me, education is just this process, this journey where you're able to try out different things and to keep learning all these new things, because we're always changing, life is always changing, new knowledge is always coming, and I think you always have to be ready to accept that and to adapt to it and to use it and combine it with all the things that you've already known previously.